CLAAS, the German agricultural giant known for its innovation and engineering excellence, is making a significant change by shifting production of its Lexion combines for the Canadian market from Omaha, Nebraska, back to its home base in Germany. This decision marks a major transition for the company's North American operations. This isn't just a routine business shuffle, it's a direct response to the mounting pressures of rising costs and new trade barriers in the United States, which have made it increasingly difficult to remain competitive in the global market. Tariffs on steel and other essential materials have driven up production expenses, making American-built combines less attractive for export, especially to price-sensitive markets like Canada. Rather than simply absorbing these higher costs or passing them on to hard-working farmers, CLAAS is choosing to adapt its strategy to protect both its business and its customers. By moving production to Germany, CLAAS can take advantage of more favorable trade agreements, streamlined logistics, and lower tariffs, helping to keep prices stable and competitive for Canadian customers. This move also allows the company to maintain its reputation for quality and reliability. Importantly, the Omaha plant isn't shutting down. It's simply refocusing its efforts on other products and markets, ensuring continued employment and investment in the region. This strategic shift highlights how global companies like CLAAS must constantly adapt and evolve to survive in a world shaped by ever-changing trade policies, economic pressures, and international competition. It's a pragmatic pivot, not a retreat, a calculated move to ensure long-term growth and stability in a challenging environment. The story of CLAAS is a window into the new realities of global manufacturing, where flexibility, innovation, and strategic thinking are more important than ever before. At the heart of CLAAS's decision to move production lies a complex issue: tariffs, taxes imposed on imported steel and aluminum. These tariffs were introduced by the U.S. government with the intention of protecting domestic metal producers and strengthening American industry. However, for manufacturers like CLAAS, which rely heavily on these raw materials to build their agricultural machinery, the impact was immediate and significant. These tariffs, while designed to support U.S. steel and aluminum companies, ended up driving up the cost of essential materials for manufacturers. For CLAAS, every ton of steel or aluminum became more expensive, squeezing their already tight profit margins and making it harder to compete. Every combine built in Omaha became more expensive to produce. This forced CLAAS into a difficult position: either absorb the higher costs and accept lower profits, or pass those costs on to farmers by raising prices, something that could hurt sales in a price-sensitive market. In such a fiercely competitive market, that's a risk CLAAS simply couldn't afford to take. The company's leadership had to weigh the consequences carefully, knowing that any misstep could threaten their business in North America. The company faced a tough choice: absorb the costs and risk financial losses, raise prices and risk losing customers, or move production to a country with fewer trade barriers and lower costs. Ultimately, U.S. trade policy made the math impossible for export production. The numbers just didn't add up for CLAAS to keep building machines in the U.S. for the Canadian market. The result? CLAAS shifted its Canadian-bound manufacturing to Germany, where both material costs and trade barriers are lower, and where the company could remain competitive in the global market. This is a classic case of unintended consequences. Protectionist policies that were meant to help American manufacturing ended up backfiring, pushing a major global player to look elsewhere for production. Instead of boosting U.S. industry, these tariffs actually encourage companies like CLAAS to relocate jobs and investment overseas, weakening the very sector they were supposed to protect. It's a powerful lesson in how economic policy can shape, and sometimes even shrink, the manufacturing landscape, reminding us that well-intentioned decisions can have far-reaching and unexpected effects. While U.S. tariffs created obstacles, the Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement, CETA, offered CLAAS a solution. CETA eliminates most tariffs between Canada and the European Union, making it cheaper to ship German-made combines to Canada. For CLAAS, this means lower costs and a stable, predictable trade environment. Canadian farmers benefit too, getting top-tier equipment without inflated prices. The contrast is clear: while the U.S. builds walls, other regions open doors. Capital and production flow to where trade is easiest. CLAAS simply followed the path of least resistance. This move underscores the power of free trade agreements in shaping global business decisions. When one market becomes costly or uncertain, companies will find another that welcomes them. Trade policy isn't just politics, it's the engine behind where things are made. The big question in Omaha: what about jobs? CLAAS has promised no layoffs at its Nebraska plant. Instead, the factory will now focus solely on building combines for the U.S. market. The workforce stays intact, but the plant's mission shifts. This specialization could mean greater efficiency for American customers. However, the opportunity for growth tied to Canadian exports is gone. The plant is stable, but its future expansion is limited. For workers, it's relief mixed with uncertainty. The plant's role is changing, but its importance to CLAAS remains. It's a new chapter, one that secures jobs today, but narrows the horizon for tomorrow. No layoffs at CLAAS, but what about the local economy? The Omaha plant relies on a web of local suppliers, machine shops, trucking companies, service providers. With fewer combines built for export, demand for these local businesses drops. The ripple effect could mean fewer hours or jobs at smaller companies. Economists call this the multiplier effect in reverse. The loss of Canadian-bound production means less economic energy for the region. The main plant is safe, but the broader community may quietly feel the pinch. It's a reminder: big corporate decisions echo far beyond factory walls. CLAAS's move is more than just a business decision. It's a warning sign flashing for the entire U.S. manufacturing sector. When a major global player like CLAAS decides to shift its focus, it signals deeper issues that go beyond the actions of a single company. The real issue at hand isn't simply about loyalty to the American market, but about the urgent need for stability, predictability, and clear rules that businesses can rely on. Companies thrive when they know what to expect, and uncertainty can be a deal breaker. Trade uncertainty, sudden policy changes, and shifting regulations make it nearly impossible for manufacturers to plan for the long term. When the rules of the game keep changing, even the most committed companies are forced to reconsider their investments. Other global manufacturers are watching these developments closely, and if the business climate in the U.S. doesn't improve, they may follow CLAAS's lead, moving jobs and innovation elsewhere. This isn't about factories shutting down overnight. It's about the slow, steady drift of future investment, research, and job creation to other countries that offer a more stable environment. If the U.S. is seen as unpredictable or risky, new jobs, advanced manufacturing, and cutting-edge innovation will increasingly go abroad, strengthening competitors and weakening America's industrial base. The CLAAS story is a clear case study in cause and effect. Policy choices made in Washington and state capitals directly influence business decisions on the ground. To keep American manufacturing strong and competitive, the U.S. must offer stability, open trade, and a welcoming environment for investment. It's about creating the right conditions for growth. Otherwise, more companies may quietly move production, jobs, and expertise out of the country, eroding the foundation of American industry. The future of American manufacturing truly depends on the choices and policies made today. The warning signs are clear. Will we heed them before it's too late? Despite the shift, CLAAS isn't abandoning the U.S. The Omaha plant remains a cornerstone, focused on American farmers. CLAAS is also investing in U.S. research and development, showing long-term commitment. This is a balancing act, adapting to global pressures while staying rooted in America. Nebraska's leaders recognize CLAAS as a vital partner, and the relationship remains strong. The company's ongoing investments reinforce its role as a major employer and innovator. The CLAAS story is about adaptation, not retreat. It's a strategic move to stay strong in a changing world, while keeping its American promise.